A shocking report just landed on King Charles's desk. And what followed wasn't tradition, it was fury. An emergency meeting, a historic decision, and a royal family on the brink. It started like any other year, with the release of the Sovereign Grant Report, a routine document outlining how British taxpayer money supports the monarchy. But this year's report wasn't routine. It was a bombshell. According to insiders, King Charles read it once, then again. The numbers weren't just surprising, they were alarming, and what followed was anything but ceremonial. Sources claim the king immediately canceled all weekend plans and called an emergency royal meeting. No press releases, no photo ops, just locked doors, top advisors, and one question hanging in the air. How far have things gone? The trigger, a financial breakdown that reportedly revealed ongoing royal perks, security details, and branding advantages still benefiting Prince Harry and Meghan Markle long after they stepped away from their royal duties. And this wasn't about overspending on floral arrangements or minor accounting mistakes. The report allegedly ties major business deals, Netflix, Spotify, even Meghan's lifestyle brand, to residual financial support from the crown. Travel expenses, security costs, and the use of royal titles were all reportedly traced back to taxpayer funds in one form or another. For King Charles, it wasn't just a red flag, it was a crisis. Insiders say he was stunned that years after Megxit, the couple's ventures may still be enjoying benefits funded by the very institution they left behind. And if that's true, it's not just a palace issue, it's a national one. But that was just the beginning. What the report suggested wasn't just awkward, it was explosive. If accurate, it means the Duke and Duchess of Sussex may have been building an empire on the back of royal privilege, all while publicly denouncing the institution that gave them that status. And for King Charles, that crossed a line. Behind the palace walls, the term nuclear option started circulating. This wasn't just about PR headaches or public criticism. It was about the crown's credibility. The report allegedly detailed how Harry and Meghan continued to benefit from resources tied to their former roles, extended security arrangements, preferential travel access, and most controversially, the persistent use of their royal titles. Their titles, Duke and Duchess of Sussex, were reportedly used to secure deals, attract sponsors, and legitimize their projects. Without those titles, would Netflix have paid millions? Would global platforms have courted them as modern royalty? That's the question burning through royal circles. Even Meghan's upcoming lifestyle brand was named in the report, with suggestions that its perceived royal flair helped draw early attention. Critics argue that despite their exit, the couple never truly severed ties. They walked away from responsibility, not from the benefits. For King Charles, this wasn't about personal betrayal. It was about precedent, allowing former working royals to build global influence with the crown's branding while dodging accountability could set a dangerous tone for generations to come. That's why the stakes weren't just high, they were historic. And as whispers of a royal decree began to surface, insiders say one thing became clear. This wasn't going away quietly. The twist? King Charles isn't just angry, he's reportedly preparing to act. And not with a statement or a quiet change on the royal website. Insiders claim he's considering something far more dramatic, a royal decree. That's right, a formal, historic order that would allow him to strip Harry and Meghan of their titles without needing Parliament's approval. It's rarely used, powerful, and irreversible. Known as a letters patent, this kind of act hasn't been deployed in a situation like this in decades. If signed, it would mean the end of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Not just in name, but in every legal and ceremonial sense. Sources inside the palace are calling this the nuclear option for a reason. There's no walking it back, no more playing both sides, no more Netflix shows or book deals under the banner of royalty. Just two ex-royals, cut off completely. And the timing couldn't be more symbolic. After years of strained family ties, public accusations, and controversial interviews, this would be the monarchy's strongest signal yet, not just to Harry and Meghan, but to the world. You don't get to wear the crown while tearing it down. For Charles, who spent decades waiting in the wings and watched his mother rule with restraint, this is his defining moment, a test of whether he's a modern monarch or just another figurehead. According to insiders, legal advisors have already been looped in. Drafts may already be underway. But this isn't just a legal move, it's a legacy move. And once the crown takes that step, there's no room for regrets. Because the next chapter, it won't just be about royal titles. It'll be about what gets exposed in the fallout. As the possibility of a royal decree loomed, the backlash began. And not just from palace loyalists. A storm of public opinion erupted on both sides. Supporters of Harry and Meghan rushed to defend them, claiming the couple had been pushed out, unsupported, and smeared by a system that never wanted Meghan to succeed. Meghan's defenders argue she was thrown into royal life without guidance, forced to learn protocol alone, and made a scapegoat the moment she spoke out. Clips resurfaced of her discussing the loneliness and pressure, while others pointed out the silence from the palace during moments when she faced public abuse. But critics didn't hold back either. They accused the couple of exploiting victimhood while cashing in on royal fame. Shows, interviews, memoirs, all framed as exposing truths, yet allegedly built on half-told stories and selective outrage. One insider called their Netflix series a polished PR campaign masked as a documentary. Then came the deeper challenge, Parliament. Several members of Parliament began asking hard questions. If taxpayer money is still tied to their projects, even indirectly, doesn't the public deserve transparency? Could the Crown be guilty of quietly funding celebrity ventures with public funds? The palace suddenly found itself in the middle of a national trust crisis. This wasn't just about a fractured family anymore. It was about accountability. And while King Charles faced criticism for staying silent too long, sources now say that silence is over. His team, insiders claim, has already begun finalizing the paperwork, not just for show, but for action. The challenge ahead? Ending this chapter without igniting a royal war, or worse, permanently fracturing the monarchy in the public eye. But that battle was just heating up, and the real controversy was still to come. Here's where it all explodes. The financial report that reportedly triggered this firestorm doesn't just raise questions. It names names. Multiple insiders say it details how Harry and Meghan's business empire was built, while still leaning quietly on royal resources. Netflix, Spotify, and even Meghan's upcoming lifestyle brand all reportedly received indirect boosts from lingering royal perks. Security coverage allegedly arranged through royal channels. Travel and logistics reportedly facilitated by palace networks. And most importantly, the strategic use of Duke and Duchess of Sussex in branding, press, and promotions. One of the most explosive claims, that Meghan and Harry began producing video content for their series months before any deals were public, and while they were still receiving direct support from the Crown. Critics call it calculated. Supporters call it smart. Either way, it's a PR nightmare for the palace. And then there's Jamgate, Meghan's new venture into artisanal jam. Part of her broader lifestyle project was mentioned in the report, not because the Crown is in the jam business, but because it allegedly benefited from royal branding and access. One viral comment summed up the outrage. "We're not paying for Meghan's jam empire." The British public, already under pressure from rising living costs and political uncertainty, is in no mood to discover that two ex-royals living in California might still be enjoying perks funded by UK taxpayers. Online, the backlash is snowballing. Hashtags calling for title removal are trending. Commentators are tearing apart past interviews, scrutinizing every timeline. The palace, usually known for silence, is now being pushed to respond. And according to royal sources, that response is coming. Fast. Because as messy as this controversy has become, the fallout might be even bigger. Behind palace walls, the tone has shifted from quiet concern to controlled urgency. According to royal insiders, King Charles isn't just considering action. He's already started. Legal advisors have allegedly been instructed to begin drafting the royal order, and those close to the king des. Cribe the mood as dead serious. No speeches, no dramatic outbursts, just cold, calculated resolve. One aide claims the king read the financial report twice, once to absorb the facts, and again to confirm what he couldn't believe. When he finished, he reportedly said 7 words that sent shockwaves through his inner circle. "We gave them every opportunity, now we close the chapter." That wasn't a warning, it was a verdict. And if insiders are correct, the results will be public, legal, and final. Meghan and Harry could be formally stripped of their titles, ending their ability to market themselves as royals in any context. Business, branding, or public appearances. No more Duke and Duchess, no more gray area, just private citizens entirely severed from the crown. The palace is also bracing for blowback. Supporters of Meghan and Harry will likely see this as retaliation, but Charles, sources say, sees it as necessary, a matter of integrity, not emotion. Queen Elizabeth's reign was defined by silence and grace, but Charles, his may be defined by action. And just as this internal storm builds, an external one is forming too. Several UK MPs are reportedly pushing for a formal inquiry into whether public funds were used, directly or indirectly, to support the Sussex's ventures. If Parliament launches an investigation, this goes beyond royal drama. It becomes a national issue of transparency and taxpayer rights. And at that point, no palace decree will be enough to control the damage. So, where do things stand now? According to multiple royal sources, the official paperwork to revoke Harry and Meghan's titles could already be in progress. The timeline is unclear, but one thing isn't. The mood inside Buckingham Palace is tense, focused, and preparing for impact. This wouldn't just be a symbolic gesture. If King Charles signs off, their royal identities would legally vanish. That means no more ceremonial standing, no more precedence in royal events, and no more Duke and Duchess of Sussex branding to support their media empire. But here's the mystery. Will they fight back? So far, Meghan and Harry have remained publicly silent about the brewing storm. No statements, no interviews, not even a cryptic Instagram post. Some believe their silence is strategic, buying time, waiting to see if the axe really falls. Others think they've already accepted the inevitable. Meanwhile, the public reaction is getting harder to ignore. Polls show growing support for stripping the titles. Political pressure is mounting, and online platforms are ablaze with speculation. Even in Hollywood, where the couple once found sanctuary, industry executives are reportedly questioning their long-term value if their royal branding is stripped. Without the titles, their star power takes a hit. No matter how compelling their story, the royal edge is what made them global headlines. Without it, they risk becoming just another celebrity couple with a complicated past. And still, no one knows exactly when the final move will be made. Will the king sign the decree quietly and let the news leak? Or will there be an official announcement, a royal message for the public and the world? Whatever happens next, one thing is clear. The end of this saga won't come with a whisper. It will come with history being made. The royal chapter Meghan and Harry tried to rewrite may now be closing without them. And this time, it's not about family drama. It's about power, principle, and the price of legacy. Because once the crown draws a line, there's no erasing it. Their titles made them global. Losing them might make them ordinary.